Hi, I'm Haydn from NI, and this is Eric from Viewpoint Systems. And today we want to show you how NI technology combined with Viewpoint Systems capability can help modernize your focal plane array or electro-optic or infrared sensor test capabilities. So Eric, you want to tell us a little bit about Viewpoint Systems?
Thanks, Hayden. Yeah, Viewpoint Systems was one of NI's first alliance partners of over 30 years. And for the last 12 years, we've been working on a system to test focal plane arrays with NI technology. And we've tried to build in as much into our solution as possible, but still being flexible to handle customer requirements.
So I appreciate y'all brought down a lot of hardware here today. Can you kind of walk us through the different components of the AEDIS system we have in this particular setup?
Yeah, so in this particular instance, we actually have two instances of an AEDIS system. On the bottom here, we have our pitch system, and then on the top is what we call our catch system. So the bottom system emulates a focal plane array as well as a readout IC or a ROIC, and that will receive commands from the catch system and send images back to the catch system for processing and saving off.
So as I've worked with y'all, over several years to understand focal plane array systems, one of the things that I've learned is there's a lot of need for customization, custom interfaces, custom electronics, and that results in a lot of purpose-built connections. And one of the things I can really appreciate about what y'all have done with AEDIS is you've kind of baked out some of that commonality and reduces the need for custom electronics and custom interfaces. And a lot of that is really built into this thing that's outside of the chassis, which y'all call the focal plane array or FPA interface module. Can you kind of talk us about what this component of the system is?
That's right. So the blue modules that we have in here are our buffer boards for the common parallel and serial signals that we see in these FPA systems. And then on the front is our custom ITA, and this is the only part of this that needs to be customized for a given customer's physical interface and electrical connections.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that kind of modularity that y'all have built in this, and it saves having a lot of that pre-built capability in AEDIS really saves people, engineers building these kind of systems, ultimately time, effort, and ultimately risk on these types of programs.
Yeah, that's right. And so working on these programs for over a decade now, we found a lot of commonalities between these programs. And so we tried to build as much of that into our software and firmware and electronics as possible. So a good example of that is our pre and post processing capabilities especially for image data. So we tried to build as much of that into the FPGAs as possible so that doesn't have to be done before or after test runs. And so we've been trying to target about 80% of a complete solution here so that we only have to finish out the last 20% for a given customer's requirements. And we found that in many cases that can save man-years of development time.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's huge on these type of focal plane array programs, saving man-years. And I really can appreciate how AEDIS just encompasses both hardware, firmware, and which is inside these FlexRio FPGA modules from NI. So appreciate that. As well as the software that's running, and that's really a key piece of this is the software being pre-built and have a lot of capabilities. So let's take a look at the software that's built into AEDIS today.
Sure. Let's go connect to the system.
Okay, so we've reconfigured. We moved the system off, and Eric, you have your laptop here, and we're remoted into the system. So can you give us a quick walkthrough of the AEDIS system software?
Yeah. So I'm connected to our AEDIS systems through our web UI here. And for this demo, we've set up our pitch system to act as an emulator for an FPA, and we're just going to be controlling the catch system. And the pitch system is already set up to start sending images as soon as it gets commands from the catch system. So I've set up the catch system with our recipes and data files for this test run. And we're going to be operating through our web UI here, but we also have a REST API for controlling the AEDIS system through automated test executives like TestStand. So I'm going to go ahead and start the recipe here. And you can see that we are sending commands out and receiving images back from that pitch system. And we're saving all of these images off to the hard drive real time. And you can also see we're calculating the frame rate as we go here.
So I mean, you can see we're getting a bunch of frames, not a lot going on in this particular screen, but how can we, one of the challenges is how do we know what's actually happening on the focal plane array and the specific images that are being captured?
Yeah, so one of the useful features that we have within AEDIS is the ability to get a live image. And we have this on both the pitch and the catch systems. So I just hit the live image button here, and now we have a live image that is coming from the catch system as it's receiving those images. And you can see this is a flyover image that we have. There's a long wave infrared image that is coming from the pitch system, and we're sending out this scene from the pitch system along with this little UFO overlay here. And these are actually independent of each other, so you can control those overlays completely independently of that background image.
So yeah, there's kind of two things going on here: that ability to handle custom frame interlacing, and this live image feature here. It can be quite useful for system bring up and debugging.
Yeah, that's right. So for things like pointing the FPA at a target within a lab, or even being able to just see whether or not all the signals are coming from the FPA properly, that can be a really useful tool.
Yeah, no one wants to redo a test. Well, Eric, I really appreciate y'all bringing the AEDIS system in here today and giving us a demo of both the hardware, the firmware, and the software. And I'm really excited about how this is going to help engineers, modernize their test system and get EOIR, capabilities from focal plane arrays out to the field and field it faster in a very, very tested way. So where can folks learn more about Viewpoint Systems and y'all and AEDIS?
So to learn more about Viewpoint and AEDIS, they can go to viewpointusa.com/EOIR.
And so if you want to learn more about the NI technology that's built into AEDIS, go to ni.com/EOIR. We encourage you to reach out if you are building focal plane array systems to connect, and we can discuss some of those requirements. We appreciate your time.